After a short break at the Dragon General Store, I rolled out of Dale's Gap and pointed the bike south onto Moonshiner 28. The afternoon sun had settled into that perfect angle, low enough to throw long shadows across the pavement, but still bright enough to make the mountain glow deep green. The crowds around the tail of the dragon faded behind me almost immediately, and the ride transformed from chaos and the adrenaline rush into something smoother, quieter, and somehow more personal. US 129, the tail of the dragon, gets the headlines, but the Moonshiner 28 feels like the road riders talk about in smaller circles. The first thing that hit me was how the landscape changes every few miles. One moment the road is climbing along steep wooded ridges. The next, it drops beside cold mountain water flowing clear over rock shelves. The pavement twists naturally with the terrain, never forced, never straight for too long. It feels less like a highway and more like a path that simply followed the rivers and the valleys that were already there. As I leaned through one corner after another, Chioa Lake guided me through the trees in flashes of blue and silver. In the afternoon light, the water almost looked metallic. The mountains surrounding the lake rose sharply from the shoreline, layered ridge behind ridge until they faded into a blue haze in the distance. Every overlook tempted me to stop, but the rhythm of the road kept pulling me forward. That's the magic of Moonshiner 28. The ride has curves, hundreds of them. But unlike the relentless intensity of the dragon, this road breathes. The corners flow together in long sequences that reward smooth riding instead of aggression. You settle into a pace where the motorcycle feels alive underneath you, almost floating from turn to turn. It's technical enough to stay exciting, but relaxed enough that you can actually take in the scenery around you. Then suddenly the trees would open, revealing massive rock faces or sweeping water views that stretched for miles. Further south, the road began tracing the rivers more closely. Every curve seemed to reveal another postcard view, I understood immediately why riders come from all over the country to experience this route. Moonshiner 28 has everything motorcyclists look for: elevation changes, constant curves, clean pavement, and scenery that makes you want to ride slower just to absorb it all. But beyond the road itself, there's something deeper here. The mountains create a feeling of isolation that's hard to find anymore. Cell service fades, traffic thins out, the outside world disappears behind ridgelines and forests. Out there, the ride becomes the only thing that matters, exactly what we hoped for. The farther south I rode, the more the afternoon light softened. Golden sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the river beside me. The sound of the engine echoed against the rock walls and disappeared into the valleys ahead. Every curve felt connected to the next, like the road had been designed with riders in mind, though the mountains themselves were the true architects. By the end of the first section, I realized Moonshiner 28 isn't popular simply because it's twisty. Riders love it because it captures everything that makes motorcycling meaningful in the mountains: freedom, rhythm, scenery, solitude, and the feeling that the road is carrying you somewhere timeless. And somewhere between Deal's Gap and the rivers far below the mountains, I stopped thinking about where I was headed. I was exactly where I wanted to be, at home, here in the mountains of western North Carolina. Thanks for watching, take care, be safe, and I'll see you out there in America on two wheels.